Welcome to this session on Operations Management, Module 1. In this session, we will discuss about the different types of production processes. We have already seen in Operations Management, the output can be in the form of tangible or intangible goods. Processes which take or which give out tangible products as outputs are production processes, and processes which give out intangible outputs are called as operations or service oriented processes. But here in operations management we will deal with both tangible and intangible goods or services. So here let us now start with the different types of production processes. These are the different types of production processes classified based on two parameters, that is the production and operations volume and the output or the product variety. Now you can see here four classifications: job shop production, batch production, mass production and continuous production. So here based on these two parameters the relative classification of the production processes is shown. You can see here very clearly at this particular point where the variety is very high and the volume is very less, you can see job shop production written. This could be a case where you can have variety of products but in very small volumes. Variety because you can have different types of varieties of a particular product. One could be different variants as we call them, the same product in different varieties. Okay, so these but in very small volumes, so they are classified as job shop production. They are also called as a highly customized in the sense they are very customized, specific to a customer requirement, because the variety depends on the choices of different customers might have different uh, may require different varieties of the same product in very small volume, only specific to that particular individual group or individual person, correct? So those will come under the made, which are also called as customized products. So the customized products will come under the job shop production, very high degree of customization. So that is job shop production. Now relative to that, as you can see here, batch production, you can see variety here decreases but the volume increases. Here in job shop the variety is maximum whereas volume is minimum, uh, whereas in batch production the variety reduces, the volume goes up, and relative to this next comes the mass production, and finally the continuous production. And continuous production is a production where the production is taking place continuously in bulk. The volume here is huge. You can give examples at utilities, refineries, electricity generation, etc. Continuous production, volume is very high, variety is very less because it's very standardized. So continuous production is highly standardized, whereas job shop production is highly customized, right? Batch production and mass production are intermediate, they come in between continuous and job shop. Again I repeat, job shop is highly customized production and continuous production is highly standardized, correct? It's made to a standard, right? Next, let us see what are the essential features of a job shop production. In a job shop is appropriate for manufacturing of small batches of many different products. As we have seen, since the variety is extensive, variety, you can have a variety of different products, each of which is custom designed and requires its own unique set of processing steps or routing through production process, which means a shop or a job shop, a customized shop appropriate for very small batches, could be even one of its kind, a unique one time, one unit, one quantity is one, correct? Quantity, something that is required in one number, or in very small batches or very small quantities, but different products in small quantities. Job shop is appropriate for that. So that is custom designed and requires its unique set of processing steps, which means unique steps of processing steps or routing through the production process, which means there are unique set of processing steps. Since product each of this product is custom designed, the process will have a unique set of steps because it is specifically to a requirement. So hence there will be a unique set of processing steps or routing through the production process. Second, the production system in which different types of product follow different sequences through different shops. This production system, different types of product follow different sequences through different shops. That's what it means. Each process has its own unique set. That means the processes will be different. There will be different sequences. There will be different sequences through the different shops, work centers. So the example could be furniture or a manufacturing company. Specific requirements. You want this furniture to be made specifically to your specifications. That can be made. You can have a cupboard or a storage device in your house where you can store your clothes, etc., which can be done according to your specification. The carpenter will come and uh, make a particular cupboard or make a particular wardrobe for yourself or your furniture for your personal need based on your personal requirement. Now another person might order it in a different way with different specifications. Though the different processes which go into the final making of the furniture is same, probably the amount of input will be different because there is variation in the process, because customer A requires it in a different way, customer B will require it in a different way. So there is variety. The process is same, but the variety is different. Maybe specification, the process is same, maybe measurement wise, construction wise, maybe sub processes that, maybe the chiseling part, maybe the polishing part, maybe the construction design itself. Correct? They are unique to the customer. Right? That's what it means. Next, much time is spent waiting for access to the equipment, which means, see, since this job shop production has see the quantity required here is very less and there is a lot of variety and there is limited availability of machines, the work may have to wait until one work is over, one order is over, another cannot start. So some time is spent here waiting for the access to the equipment because limited machines, different varieties, quantity may be less. Even if it is 1 unit, you have to make it, right? You have to load it on the machine has to work, but there is limited equipment, so the equipment becomes sometimes overloaded, or the equipment, the work or the job will have to wait for its turn on the machine. So much time is spent waiting for access to the equipment. Some equipment will be overloaded, overloading problem will be there. So proper scheduling methods are required here. There has to be proper scheduling methods to overcome this particular problem. Now this production system adopts a process layout, as by this production system we manufacture more variety of products at low product volume. So this production system adopts process layout, as by this production system we manufacture more variety. So each process, each work center will be specifically suited for a specific process, but since there are a lot of varieties, each one will be engaged. So the previous point, waiting time again increases here. The waiting time increases. So more variety, low product volume. Please keep in mind, a very essential characteristic of job shop is low product volume and very high variety. As I told you, a specific component for your project, for example, you are doing when you do a final year project, for example, or an individual mini project, for example, you might require a very specific component suitable, which is required for your work, which is unique to you. Correct? You cannot have it in mass production, right? You can do it, you can go to a workshop, or you can do it yourself based on the design in the machine shop, in the workshop, or you can give it to one outside, outsource it to some workshop outside. Now he will ask you for a design, you give him the design which is unique, and he'll have to work on that. That is only one of a kind work for him. He might have different various other works. He has only one machine on which he can do the work, but that work which you are doing is unique to you, which means the volume is less there for him from his point of view. but the variety is different. What is usually doing and what you have brought to him is different. Different in the sense, in terms of, say, your design may be different, basic underlying processes may be same, but for him it's new work, correct? One of its kind, only your work. A similar work is not there for him, so he cannot do it. He has to wait for the machine which is already loaded with some other's work. Once it finishes, then he can load your work on that, correct? So that is the example. Job shop, work which is unique or which is small in quantity, and from the producer's point of view, it's new to him, correct? That's job shop. Next, batch production, an extension. See, again, it's relative. I told you it's a relative comparison. A process technology for a variety of products. Variety of products here means in job shop the variety was maximum variance. In batch production the variety comes down, but the volume increases. Variety comes down, volume increases. Here limited product variety. Here there is limited product variety which is fixed for one batch of production. There is limited product variety which is fixed for one batch of production. For example, a bakery shop or a medicine shop. Products are made in batches because variety is less, requirement is more. Requirement is more, variety is less. Specific to a particular requirement. Now, as you see here, customization, it's coming from customization towards standardization slowly. It's not fully standardized, but nor fully customized. It is now from customization. It's still some amount of it is customized because still you are not producing it in bulk, in batches, required batches. You have to have a good inventory system, stocking system, where you will store a storage system. At the same time, there should be a good production schedule also to produce it in batches, correct? So for example, the production in, say, a bakery, for example, your canteen, for example, or a mess, for example, in your mess, college mess, the daily demand, they know how many students are there, how many faculty come, or say a hotel, for example, on a normal day there will be an estimation. So the first plot in first hour they'll make, say, category A, something, some breakfast item in batches, and once that batch is, say, no, fully exhausted, is fully supplied or fully catered to, the next batch they do it in batches. Similarly, batch product printing, for example, printing of books, for example, batches, they do it in batches, correct? So bakery, medicine shop, correct, etc., in batches. Beverages, for example, crates or pallets in batches, correct? Batch number 1, batch number 2, correct? Limited demand, there is limited, but limited, not as limited in, say, job shop, correct? The volume here in job shop was very less, whereas in batch production the volume increases, whereas the variety decreases. Volume increases and variety decreases, correct? Within the wide range of products in the facility, several are demanded repeatedly and in large volumes. Just an extension of what I told earlier. Within the wide range of products, there is a wide range, again, not as wide as in, say, the coming range here. Again, when I say range, again, range here means again variety, but not as varied as that in job shop, whereas quantity is large, correct? Quantity is very large, range of products is better than, say, your in job shop. I told you variety is maximum. Variety goes, for example, in the same set of beverages you can have different, for example, beverage under the brand name, say, XYZ, may have different variants. One could be an orange drink, one could be a cola drink, another one could be a fruit flavored drink, another one could be plain soda, and all these things will be produced according to specific demands in batches. That's what it means, batch production, right? You say food processing industry, for example, milk processing, dairy unit, for example, high fat milk, low fat, you can have different variants of milk, variants of milk supplied, correct? So these are different classifications, batch production classifications. Now this type of production system should be preferred when there is a wide variety of volumes. So again, you get quantity and volumes. The two parameters which are very important here is the quantity and the variety and volume, or variety and quantity. Next, assembly line or mass production. Assembly line or mass production here, a process technology suitable for a very narrow range of standardized products. You can see here from customization, we are now moving to standardization, but in very high volumes. A process technology suitable for a narrow range of standardized products in high volumes. The successive units of the output undergo the same sequence of operation using specialized equipment usually positioned along a production line. So the process technology which is suitable for a narrow range of standardized products, which means we are coming now towards standardization, which means not unique to one customer. A group of customers require something and that is standardized now. It's like ready-made shirts. Ready-made shirts, suppose you go and buy a branded shirt, it's more standardized. You have to select one which is according to the standards set by the seller, or the seller is offering you in batches with some standardization, correct? Now in customization you can have your specific requirement. You go to a tailor and it stitches your clothes according to your measurement, so that is customized. Standardized is what is offered by the seller. You have to choose amongst those which is offered by you, offered by the seller. Whereas in customization you can have your own specification and ask the seller to give you a product which suits your specifications, right? So here in assembly line or mass production, the volume is very high, variety still goes down. From batch production the variety still goes down, from the batch production the variety still goes down, but the volume is very high. Variety comes down, volume goes up. Similarly, the successive units of output undergo the same sequence of operation using specialized equipment. There is specialized equipment here because the volume is very high, so there will be specialized equipment which is usually positioned along a production line. There is a production line. Assembling of cars for automobile industry, for example, continuous your assembly or mass production, continuous production. It's not continuous. The term continuous here and mass production here mean different things. When I say continuous, continuous refers to 24/7, whereas here mass production in bulk, it goes through a assembly line. Your normal automobile manufacturing lines, assembly lines, mass production. Beverages, for example, that can also come under this if the demand is very high. They can be made in batches or in mass production. The product variety is fixed here. There is no much of a product variety. Your assembly of television, similar products, similar variety in large numbers, in very high quantity. Examples are assembly of television sets, assembly of automobiles or auto components, assembly of computer keyboard, beverages, etc. Correct? Now these are some of the examples of assembly line. Now continuous production. In continuous production, again process technology suitable for producing a continuous flow of products. A process technology suitable for producing a continuous flow of products. It is a process technology which is suitable for producing a continuous flow of products. Now you can see here from customization we are slowly moving. In fact, we have reached the almost end of customization now. It's purely standardized now. Continuous production involves standardization, which means it's standard. If a standard product is to be produced now in a very high quantity, variety here is almost nil, but volume is very high. So variety very small, volume very high, continuous production. Your examples could be your utilities, electricity, for example, generation of electricity, which is it's essential, isn't it? Electricity continuously it has to be produced, correct? So it's a continuous production. Oil refineries, for example, continuous production. It is again continuous production. So this is highly standardized. This product is highly standardized. Materials and products are produced in continuous endless flows rather than in batches or discrete units. Continuously there is a process going on, continuous process of producing electricity, power generation, for example, power generation, electricity, correct? The various players now, previously there was a monopoly, now there are even private players, private players in this power generation field now. Previously it was a public sector, only monopoly. Now various players are there. various competition is very high now. And similarly, we can even talk about refineries, oil refineries. Again, we all know that the automobiles, because of the high production of automobiles, they also are eating away our resources, because they require fuel, correct? So this fuel has to be, now from where do we get the fuel? Very soon, if the fuels gets exhausted, we need to think about an alternative, correct? Alternative, correct? But then the requirement of that will still remain continuous. It will not be it will be a 24/7, 24 into 7 production scenario there. So please make a distinction between mass production and continuous production. Continuous production is the end of the continuum for customization. There is no customization at all in continuous production. It's fully standardized. Standardized products, that is very less variety but maximum volume. That is one of the chief characteristics or the main characteristics of continuous production. Next, continuous flow technology affords very high volume around the clock operation with very capital intensive, that is, it's highly expensive. More automation, specialized automation. Why? Because it has to run continuously. See, manpower, even if you have 3 shifts, the productivity concerns of this continuous production are very critical. Their existence depends upon continuous improvement in product. There is no second chance for them. There's no second chance. Okay, doing it the right first time. That's the motto of them, for them, correct? So that is why specialized automation, correct? And now, how do I actually measure or gauge these things? How do I measure these production systems? I gauge them through productivity measures. So productivity is the relationship between the output and input, that is the product or the service, and input. What are the input? The inputs are the resources consumed. The resources consumed in the entire process of a business system. All of you have heard about efficiency, and all of you say efficiency should be less than 1. We have all studied, right? Efficiency, whether it is mechanical efficiency or it is thermal efficiency, volumetric efficiency, etc., etc., etc. Each one having its own definition, each one having its own importance, relevance, correct? Now, but generally efficiency we consider as less than 1, cannot be 100% or cannot be absolute 1, because there are some losses, correct? Where are these losses coming from, occurring from? That could be frictional loss between 2 moving parts. It could be losses due to some boundary loss. Boundary loss can happen. Say if you are talking about fluids, it could be because of some bends. It could be because of some faulty design, correct? So every equipment has a design capacity. But do you think the machine will adhere to that design capacity? No, there will be of course some losses there again. The actual capacity will always be less than the design capacity, correct? But on what account do I measure this productivity? If productivity is an index, if productivity is a measure, is a relationship between output and input of a business system, and how do I measure productivity? What is the significance of productivity, and what is productivity? So we will be discussing about these things, yeah? And once we discuss about these things, you will get a better picture about the production processes and productivity as a whole. Productivity is also defined as the ratio of the aggregate output to the aggregate input, right? And once more, I repeat, unlike efficiency, for survival of any organization, productivity ratio must be at least 1. Now this is a major difference. Efficiency, we said, should be less than 1, but here we are reiterating that productivity should be greater than 1. So what is this productivity? How is it different from efficiency? How is it different from efficiency? So very clear. Let us understand now what comes into your pocket and what you have spent. Now I would require what comes to my pocket to be more than what I have spent, correct? what comes into my pocket should be more than what goes out of my pocket, right? Then I can say that yes, I am doing some business, I'm getting some income. And what is this income? This income is the output. So this is the philosophy. This is the meaning of productivity. Productivity does not simply mean a unit or some entity which you gauge only from what comes in and what goes out. No, it's a much broader concept than that. Correct? So productivity refers to how best you are utilizing, how best you have utilized your resources over the inputs, whatever inputs you have got, and how you have converted those inputs into useful value added products to the customers, and how the customer has made transactions with you so that you are productive. Correct? So what is productivity? If it is more than one, the organization is a comfortable position. Productivity is a ratio of the output produced to the input resources utilized in the production. These are all general statements regarding productivity. Now let us first understand what is effectiveness and what is efficiency. Very briefly we'll understand. Efficiency is whether you are doing what you are doing is right or not. Correct? Whereas effectiveness, if you are doing something, if you have given an objective of say finishing a job in say 1 hour, and you are given some resources, 1 2 3 4 5 resources, 5 different units, say I give you say 2 people or some 10 units, 10 machines, and say some components, and say within 1 hour please do this. I give you a design and say within 1 hour do this. You most efficiently you utilize all these resources and complete the output in 1 hour. You are efficient, very efficient. But are you effective? Now, effectiveness here means doing the right things. Efficiency is doing the things what to do, what is assigned to you. If you do it, there is a saying, efficiency is doing things right, whereas effectiveness is doing the right things. There is a difference. Doing things right and doing the right things are different to each other. Efficiency is doing things right. Whatever is given, whatever resources are given, you are doing it in the right way without any losses. That is efficiency. But if you are not doing it the right, if it is not the required thing what you are doing, there is no use doing that. It's like producing 1000 cars in the most efficient way. Correct? Most efficient way. You have utilized all the resources, done it very efficiently. You have produced around 1000 cars in 2 months, and say in a quarter. But at the end of the quarter, you find out that the cars that you have most efficiently produced are not in demand at all. You have produced, say, an XYZ brand of automobile, which is not popular today at all, a 1980s model. Most efficiently, you have utilized the resources, but that is not the order of the day. That is not what is required today. In spite of being efficient, you are not effective. Now, productivity is efficiency plus effectiveness together. Efficiency plus effectiveness together is productivity. So you have to be efficient. At the same time, you should also do the right things. Doing the things right is not enough. Doing whatever is assigned to you the right way, it's important, very important, doing the things right. But are you doing the right thing for the right purpose? That is the second question. So both have to be met. So productivity is efficiency plus effectiveness together. Now let us see, how do you measure productivity? Productivity may be measured either on aggregate basis or on individual basis, which are called total and partial measures. Total productivity index or measure is equal to total output by total input. Total output is the total production of goods and services. Total input is all the other resources, inputs that you have gathered to convert into outputs, that is labor, material, energy, capital, management, etc. Partial productivity depends upon factors used. It measures the efficiency of individual factors like labor. For example, labor productivity is output in unit by the man hours. Man hours is the labor hours worked. Labor hours worked. So this is how you measure productivity. In the next session, we will discuss why productivity is important, and we will also discuss about different decision making, how decision, what are the different classifications of decisions that we make in operations management.